There were a couple news items on The Athletic today that just read like music to my ears when I saw them. A couple of big Minnesota Twins tidbits. But as soon as I started to let some positive feelings creep in, I realized, well, wait, no, I'm a Minnesota sports fan. This can't be a thing. This can't be a thing. Why are these news items coming out? And instant paranoia set in. Let's talk about this. So the first big news item was that Ken Rosenthal reports that the Twins are trying to sign Byron Buxton to a long-term deal. Now we're going to talk about Jose Berrios trade rumors as well. Was the other item in an article from Dan Hayes. Before we get into that, subscribe to The Athletic. I'm not going to give away whole articles here. I'm only going to hit on these big headline news items. But these two guys, very central. I mean, to anything Twins related right now. And it's especially key because these guys are only under contract through next season. So what happens over the next couple weeks with these two players is going to tell us a great deal about what we're going to see with the Minnesota Twins going forward. Is this team going to try to regroup and go for it again next year? Or are they looking to maybe do more of a bigger rebuild? An extension is in the talks. Now, the extent at which, these talks have developed, are up there. But Ken Rosenthal, again, I'm not going to give away this entire article, but he does specifically point out the team's latest offer to Buxton is in excess of the $70 million the Yankees awarded former Twin Aaron Hicks over a 7-year extension. And it's kind of funny that that's the kind of the marker that's thrown out there because there's the obvious Twins connection. They're both center fielders. They're both really good when healthy, and that's unfortunately not as much as you would like. Aaron Hicks has been, right now he has a broken wrist. So, but yeah, when he's healthy, the guy is amazing, a legit center fielder who contributes a lot offensively, much like Byron Buxton. So I think, is that going to get the deal done? To me, I probably don't think so, but that is certainly a serious offer. That certainly means that the Twins are making some progress towards extension talks. Again, I don't think that's going to get a deal done, but I think that is going to keep conversations going at least. That's not a non-starter, that kind of an offer. In addition to that, I would think, if that's guaranteed money, I would think any contract extension talk with Byron Buxton is going to have a lot of discussion around performance-based enhancements or even just playing time-based not enhancements, incentives. That's the word I was looking for. We don't want to talk about performance enhancers with baseball. Now, what is my Twins doom? What is my Minnesota sports fan doom that I'm talking about? Why is this coming out? Wow, who is giving this to Ken Rosenthal? They only really give you sources according to major league sources. So that could be Byron's agency, that could be the Twins. Just sort of, this is, I want to be clear that this is complete speculation on my part, but thinking as an outside observer and trying to think, who might have leaked it. It seems much more probable that someone with the team would leak something like this than Byron would. So that makes me nervous in thinking like, okay, well, are you trying to make it appear like you're trying to make an effort to sign him so that when he is traded away, you can say, oh, well, we tried our best, but we just couldn't get him to sign. So that's sort of my Twins dread on that one. All right, so again, switching gears here to the Dan Hayes article referenced earlier. This is a Minnesota Twins trade primer, kind of buries this into this one a little bit. This has kind of also come out in, whatever social media you're on. It's been discussed, but he does, again, I'm not going to give away this entire article. Lots of good stuff in here from Dan, but he does give away that there is a belief that the early indications are the Twins asked another team that inquired about Berríos for a pre-arb player. So that's, well, we'll get to that in a sec. And 2 top 100 prospects. So 2 top 100 prospects and a pre-arb player. What does that mean if you're not really familiar with how baseball contracts work? In your first few years that you're a major leaguer, you are pre-arbitration eligible. So like Luis Arraez, think of a guy of that sort of experience level. That's the idea. It's a guy who's in the majors, but not quite, into his like 4th or 5th year. And then 2 top 100 prospects. So to me, if you're someone who wants to see Jose Berrios get traded, that's probably bad news. To me, again, I want to see this team try to compete next year. that's music to my ears. Because that's the asking price that I would, close to the asking price that I would have for Jose Berrios. Everybody has a price. I don't want to see Jose Berrios traded. I don't think it's really wise for the Twins to be shopping him necessarily. This team's problem is pitching. So how are you going to trade like the one guy that you have on your starting rotation? I don't know how that, is going to advance you forward as a franchise unless you ask for the moon like this rumor. So I'm certainly relieved that it sounds like the Twins, if they are to trade Jose Berrios, it is going to be for a bounty. After next year, if he stays healthy and pitches well, give him a qualifying offer if that's still a thing. We're going to have a lot of labor talk. Unfortunately, the CBA expires this offseason. Maybe the qualifying offer is a thing on the table. I don't know. At this point, though, that's on the books. So I'll assume that that's something you can offer someone. If you offer a player a qualifying offer, which is a contract in the certain percentile, I think this past year was like $18 million for one season. And the guy accepts it, obviously you get one more year of him. If he declines it, you get a draft pick. So it's like you're not losing him for nothing in that scenario. So either way, you could trade Jose Berrios next trade deadline. If you bring him back and things go poorly again, you always have the chance to trade him next deadline unless he's hurt. Always a possibility with these guys. Jose's been incredibly durable, incredibly healthy, but you never want to totally eliminate that. I just would prefer to see him stick around. I love Jose Berrios. Also, again, the only pitcher that's the only starting pitcher that's like dependable. So if you have any hope of wanting to compete next year, I don't know how you could trade away Jose Berrios and keep that expectation. It's hard for me to imagine that they, it's already hard enough. Let's be honest. It's already hard enough to imagine the Twins building a competitive staff for next year as is. This is trade gossip. This is trade talk. This is trade rumors. I am nervous. Even though it's there, the rumor is they're asking for a ton. I am still nervous. The way that it was put, again, we'll go one more time to get the exact wording. I don't want to twist it up. Early indications are the Twins asked another team. So that could mean a lot of things. Who's leaking that? I mean, you could certainly see a situation in which the Twins are floating that out there to see if they can get that offer of a pre-arb guy and two top, if a team says, oh, hey, we would do, if that's the price, let's get in on that. I don't know, but it makes me nervous. It's confirmation that teams are asking about Jose Berrios. It's confirmation that the Twins are talking about Jose Berrios. Again, everybody has a price. You don't expect the team to just hang up if another team calls on them. On the one hand, encouraged that it sounds like the Twins are going to ask for a ton. On the other hand, terrified that, this is just, hey, we're a few weeks before the deadline. That asking price is going to come down to, one pre-arb player and one top 100 prospect, or just the two top 100 prospects, or come down in some way in which it's not that high. And it kind of does look like the Twins are just, I don't want to say giving away Jose Berrios. I have a hard time seeing a scenario in which that happens. But, getting what they can get, basically trading him to the highest bidder, making sure he is traded. I'm more focused on next year. That's a window for this sort of core. And if you get rid of both of these guys or one of these guys, I think you're already, this year kind of closed that window a bit, and you're really slamming that shut if you kind of keep taking away from this team. So I don't want to see that, because I don't want to see some kind of a long rebuild. I mean, this season's already rough enough to not have, playoff hopes this early in the year. And I mean, this has been that way for a while. To have sort of the perspective of that potentially being a multi-year situation we have to go through, as fun as it has been to see rookies come up and play well, and as fun as it is to think of the guys who are coming on the way. If you watch this channel, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We watch their highlights all the time. Still very excited for that group of players, but not really looking forward to a team that's, selling at the deadline every year, or not adding in free agency to try to make a competitive team. So that's my perspective on it. Where are you at with both of these guys and that trade situation? I want to see them win. And that's the best. The best route to get there is with Byron Buxton and Jose Berrios. Thank you so much for checking this out. Please consider subscribing. We'll talk again soon.